Hi guys, so today I am bringing you a Friday Reads. I haven't done one of these in a while, but I felt like it was time and I read a few things last week. So I thought, might as well give you guys an update. So let's get started on that. I read some graphic novels, which I'm really excited to share with you. I really like reading graphic novels. My only issue is they're too short. So to start with, I am going to talk about In Real Life by Cory Doctorow and Jen Wang. Sorry if I butchered those names. Which is basically a story about female gaming culture and gold farming, which, if you don't play video games, basically is people selling in-game currency for real-world money. It's really interesting. The main character is a really shy girl. She's part of like the gaming club at school where they play Dungeons and Dragons. And a speaker comes to the school and introduces them to this MMO, which is a massive multiplayer online, for those of you who don't play video games. And basically she sets up her avatar and like plays the game. She meets a gold farmer who actually has a bit of a backstory because they tend to be villainized in MMOs a lot. I'm speaking from personal experience. I do play a lot of video games as well. So this was interesting. I think I gave this 3 stars on my Goodreads. While I really enjoyed the story, I really thought the perspective was great. I thought the divergence with the story, focusing on the economics and then also focusing on the girl gamer aspect, kind of weakened the story a bit. I wish they'd focused on one or the other. I really would have preferred this to be, kind of an homage to girl gamers, but it was really good. The art's beautiful, especially the in-game art. It's quite lovely. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I gave it a solid 3 stars, maybe more of a 2.5 on reflection. But yeah, I would, if you are a gamer or you are a girl gamer, I would say check it out. I also read Lost at Sea by Brian Lee O'Malley, who wrote the Scott Pilgrim series. Scott Pilgrim is probably one of my favorite graphic novel series. It's actually, and the main reason is it's not because of the plot. I'm not like the biggest Scott Pilgrim fan. I have a really soft spot in my heart because I actually used to live in the neighborhood that Scott Pilgrim is based in, and so the second cup in Scott Pilgrim is actually the second cup I used to go to when I lived in that neighborhood. So it's my Toronto basically. To those of you who are Canadian and understand the CTV my Toronto is thing, I just had a little flashback to that. So basically, this is the story of Riley. She's on a road trip with 3 people who she went to school with previously, but she's kind of friends with, but not really. And she thinks she has lost her soul to a cat. And it's kind of, I think I gave this 2 stars. This was okay. It was kind of one of those teenage existential crisis things that are, great if you're in that phase of your life and you could probably really relate to, but when you're a little bit further removed from that situation, you kind of just cringe a little bit and be like, I know I acted like that, but I like to ignore that part of my life. So this is good. It's not, I wouldn't say it's as fun as Scott Pilgrim. It definitely doesn't have all the, almost magic stuff in Scott Pilgrim. I don't know how to describe it. It's magic, but it's not. Definitely a more realistic one. I just picked this up on a whim because it was sitting on the shelf and I thought it looked cool, and it's Brian Lee O'Malley, and it was a heck of a lot cheaper than Seconds, which I want to read, but Seconds is in hardback, so. The next and last graphic novel that I read is Through the Woods by Emily Carroll, and this is actually a collection of 5 short stories. I think I saw this on Bookish Thoughts, Jean, her YouTube. She hauled this and I immediately wanted it. So it's a bunch of short stories that basically tell you spooky stories connected to the woods, and it honestly is actually pretty terrifying. I think my favorite is the second last one. The art's really interesting. It's a very quick read. I think I read this in like half an hour, but very good. I think I gave it 4 stars. So also a really good read to do for Thanksgiving, or not Thanksgiving. Don't read this for Thanksgiving. For Halloween. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up with my October holidays. Next up, I finished Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I will not go into this because I just posted a full review for my last video, so I will link that in the description below and you can check that out. This was for the I Like Big Books book club. This was our October-November read. I finished it early and I thought I'd post a review. Next up is one that I read for class, and it is by Marie Claire Blaise, and it is Mad Shadows. Mad Shadows is this. She's a Quebec writer. This is for my Modes of Fantasy class, and this is a really depressing story. Yeah, she wrote this when she was 20, and I think it was published in 1959. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about this. While the prose was really great, the characters are just so unlikable. So I'll read the back quickly for you for a plot summary. A harrowing pathology of the soul. Mad Shadow centers on a family group. Patrice, the beautiful and narcissistic son, his ugly and malicious sister Isabelle Marie, and Louise, their vain and uncomprehending mother. These characters inhabit an amoral universe where beauty reflects no truth and love is an empty delusion. With the closing passage of Mad Shadows, Marie Claire Blaise cleared the way for a new era in Quebec fiction. Basically, that's pretty much what it is. Patrice is this beautiful boy who their mother adores, and you're constantly reminded of his beauty, but as the characters say, he's an idiot. There's nothing to his brain, and he does horrible things because he doesn't know what he's doing. I think a more politically correct way to say this is he is mentally ill. There's something wrong with him. He's not all there. Isabelle Marie, his sister, is horrid. To be fair, she's treated pretty awfully by her mother. And at one point she meets a blind man and tells him she's beautiful and he falls in love with her, but he regains his sight and realizes she's not. And that's rather harrowing, but it's a book about horrible people, basically. There is no redeeming quality to any of them. You don't feel any sympathy, and yeah, I don't know. Can't say I enjoyed this. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this. And then for what I am currently reading, I am reading Howard's End by E.M. Forster. I am being forced to read this, and I use the word forced very loosely. I'm not actually being forced at all. But by Katie over at Effusions of Wit. She posted a review of it and suggested, you know, reading it, and I was going to pick up an Anthony Trollope book, The Warden, to get started on the Barchestershire Chronicles, but instead I picked this one up, which, to be fair, it's a Penguin English Library, and it was on my shelf, which is basically my requirement for my next book, so I'm trying to get through all the ones that I own. So I've started this. I don't have any strong opinions on it yet because I'm still fairly new into it, but hopefully I can finish this up by the end of the week. So yeah, that is what I have read recently and what I am currently reading, so I will see you guys next week. Bye.